What if there was a show about traveling to parallel worlds, the same year, the same Earth, only different dimensions? A world where the Russians ruled America, or where your dreams of being a superstar came true, or where San Francisco was a maximum security prison. We started a podcast talking about it, inviting some friends to join us. Now we hope you all come along for the ride. Hey everybody, welcome back to Fandom Entanglement, and we're done with season 2, and we are doing we're finishing up our anniversary kind of thing going on for the 30th anniversary of Sliders, even though at the time of this recording it was several months ago. But
30th anniversary.
It is the 30th anniversary year, 2025. Anyway, I am Damon Sugameli, and this is my co-host, Mike Bloxam.
Hello.
Hey, Mike. How is everything doing? How you doing?
Oh, doing just fine, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know we've both been talking about we've been feeling kind of burnt out with a lot of stuff going on lately, so we're just kind of taking our time before we get to season 3. We might as well say you recently did something, right, with a bunch of people for the Quantum Leap trivia thing.
Yes, yeah. Dave and Stacy hosted their second Quantum Leap trivia, and it was a lot of fun. It was just hard to believe how quickly the time went by, and we were, lucky enough to have Deborah Pratt join us for the second half of the thing. Sorry you missed that.
Jealous.
Yeah, she was so nice. She was so wonderful to have. It was great having her.
Like, now I wish I had tried to join. It's like they do it so early, and it's like by the time my son is in bed, I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry. I just wish I could. I have to, because Dave has to like he has to start early or something. So it was like I can't. How did you do?
I placed last.
Oh, I didn't get to watch it yet.
I don't want to talk about it too much. But no, I got a couple of pretty bad questions that weren't even Quantum Leap related. So I
Aren't they supposed to be?
Well, it's supposed to be, yeah. But one was about Dave and Stacey's podcast. Another one was about John Iron's book, which I had a vague idea of the title, but couldn't recall it. And yeah. And and then there was one question that everyone was complaining they thought was wrong, but it didn't get to me in the order before they said, all right, we're going to scrap that question. But I was right. So I feel like I should have gotten one more point, and then I would have tied with Deborah. So,
Wow. Okay.
I would at least been on par with one of the creators of Quantum Leap.
No. Maybe next time. I know they were in the chat saying maybe somebody else will host it. So who
well,
knows?
Dave and Stacey want to play, so fair enough.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought I'd bring that up, just like a quick little plug. I'll share it. That video where you can see that. And you did the first one. It was like a few months back or something, right?
Yeah, I think it was in March. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Both of them were a lot of fun. Just such a great group of people, and it doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's all about the camaraderie of the Quantum Leap fandom. So
yeah. All right. Well, let's. We don't really like our first bonus episode. We don't really have like a actual real rundown we're doing. We're just kind of. Well, we're gonna start talking about just our feelings, general feelings on season 2, and then we did read some of the comics, so we'll get into that, and then I think at the end we'll share some feedback from fans that they sent us some stuff. So
yeah, excellent.
All right, so you want to start off with with your general thoughts, Mike?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, for another truncated season, I think it was, on the whole, it was a really good season. I think I mentioned at the end of The Young and the Relentless, it seems like in production order at least, which is how we did the reviews, they kind of bookended with the two weakest episodes, Into the Mystic and then Young and the Relentless. However, everything in between I think was very solid, and of course we have one of the best episodes ever, the post-traumatic slide syndrome.
Right.
And I'd say not just of Sliders, but of all television. It's just a gripping episode. So
it was really good. I always loved that one. It was just like, that's what I was looking forward to when we started doing this. I'm like, I can't wait till we get up to that, and then it just, like, after that, it's like the momentum dies down. Unfortunately, it's just like.
But we have people who want to join us for season 3 still, so there's hope.
We do. We have like I think like almost every episode is kind of spoken for with, like, there's multiple things. Like I put out the request for, like, just among our general, like, community of people, and like the past people who've joined us, like, you guys want to join us, and there's been, like, I don't know, I would say like at least 2 or 3, or like each person has said, like, oh, I'll do like these 3 or something, or like I'll do this if nobody does this.
Nice.
So I will figure that out. But it's going off on a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah. Season 2, as a whole, very solid, lots of fun. All the reviews we did were lots of fun. We had so many great returning folks joining us, and new people who came on to review. So I hope we'll see them all back again, and get some new people joining us as well.
Yeah. I mean, my thoughts kind of mirror yours, I think. I mean, I always liked Into the Mystic. I know you said it was like you felt it was kind of weak. I know it's not like your typical Sliders episode. It does kind of seem weird, but for whatever reason, that one, like, I never minded it so much. I think because it had the whole Wizard of Oz type thing going on. It's like, well, at the time, it seemed kind of like cool that they did that, But,
fair enough. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, there were like a few, I know I wasn't particularly a fan of Great Fellas, and then The Young and the Relentless, like I said, I couldn't get. I don't know if my thoughts have changed on that one. I feel like it's almost worse now. Maybe because I'm older, and that's probably what it is. I mean, we had a lot of fun with the episode.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
And I know we tried to do, like, nice, like, little things, like themes for the episodes when appropriate, like for I'm blanking, the Old West one. Whatever.
Yep.
We did
the good, the bad, and the wealthy.
Right. We tried to do that. We did the whole backwards thing with as time goes by, which I always liked that episode. I know it was hard to understand, but I always enjoyed it. Who were the guest stars that stuck out to you?
Well, we had Jeffrey Dean Morgan in El Cid, of course, someone who went on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Gosh, who else?
Well, I know he was like one. I guess just what do we think in general about, like, like the people that we got for? It's kind of an odd question. I don't. Did we even like ask that the first time? I don't even know.
I don't know. No. Well, it was interesting that they had Mel Torme in the Great Fellas episode too.
Yeah, well, I know he wanted to try to get. I mean, it was his own father, so
yeah,
obviously. I think it was like, I think we said it then. It was like probably one of the last things he did before he got like really sick or something, and then
that's right.
He passed away.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just kind of going on just trying to think of what else to say.
Yeah. Well, it was 13 episodes that, like I said, it was solid for what in the 90s would have been a truncated season, but season 1 was only 8, and then 13, and then we finally get into full seasons after that. But now these were the only 2 filmed in Vancouver, right? Season 3 moves to Los Angeles, I believe.
Yes, season 3 definitely. Yes. So they're going to set that up in Double Cross. I know there's reasons for it. I think it's also because they wanted to like keep a closer eye on the show, because they didn't like Tracy Torme constantly trying to circumvent what they were doing. So you can tell pretty quickly. And then there's like different, like we're going to get into, I guess he was like the showrunner, David Peckinpah, who somebody mentions in the feedback too about how, he was kind of labeled as like the bad guy that brought Sliders down. I don't know. He was more of like a yes man, but we will get into all of that. So we did read some of the comics that came out.
Yes.
Which were so I will do like just a little rundown of I did write these down. These were so we had delved into them briefly, but both of us took the time to read at least the first, like the 7 main issues. So these were basically published it was monthly. I figured it out. I remember this. It was February through August of 1996. So it started right before season 2 had started. And then the last issue because it was like, so we have Sliders number 1. We have this one, and it says on there, it says June, but they were like 4 months ahead.
Okay.
And the UPCs on there say, because they treat them as like issues. So you see, like it says 1, and then if you get to the last one, it will say 7 on there. This is for the viewers who want to look at it. See, it says 7.
Right.
So,
nice.
Even though they're like 3 separate miniseries things. So we have the first 2 issues. On EarthPrime.com, he calls it Armada. There's no official name for them. It might be because they use this as the... Oh, wait. I just lost mine. Here we go. I'll try to give a little background for this. This was, like, I think in the mid-90s. It was like an independent comic company called Valiant Comics, and I think it changed to Acclaim Comics. So they basically, like, their universe of heroes became like the Valiant imprint, and then this was their Armada imprint.
Okay.
Of Acclaim Comics.
Got it.
I don't know if that's where the Armada is coming from,
Probably,
although they do mention the Armada in with the Zercurvians, like their Armada of ships or something.
Right.
So maybe that's like the unofficial title for it.
Maybe. Yeah.
And they didn't have titles for these stories, so this was Sliders number 1. Which was, so the story for, I think these first 2 is by Tracy Torme. They were written by DG, I may be massacring these names, I don't know. Even though I was a comic fan, I don't always know the names of how these are pronounced, but written by DG Chichester. They were penciled by Dick Giordano and inked by Mark DiCarlo. The first one, it said the Sliders are captured by a race of aliens who are conquering parallel worlds for their energy. And they want Quinn's knowledge of sliding to help them do it. So that's the first issue. And then the second issue, which is, right, let's see. Oh yeah, I'm prepared.
Hey, you've got them in front of you. That's impressive.
I got them in front of me. Sliders number 2. So this was March of '96, I guess, right around the time season 2 began. After fleeing the murderous Zercurvians, the Sliders race to stop them from razing more worlds while simultaneously saving a parallel Earth from alien abductions of a different kind.
Right.
So that's the first 2-part story. So what did you think about them?
I thought they were a little out there. I could see why they didn't make it into television.
Right.
I think you mentioned before how the Zercurvians were the inspiration for the Cro-Mags. And I really see the parallels there. These odd-looking aliens who want to consume humans for different reasons. I guess the Zercurvians are just basically getting energy out of these Earths, whereas the Cro-Mags were basically harvesting humans.
Right.
So, but yeah, I see the inspiration is all I was going to say. I kind of got confused when they slid to that other Earth where there were like literal other aliens had invaded and were harvesting humans.
Yeah.
And like it was just I found it a little hard to follow. And then like I guess this is in the third part. We come back to that Earth, but the third series, or if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just trying to keep the storyline straight. It was definitely interesting. It was nice. It was good reading. Although I think the very first page or two of the first Armada part 1, some of the jokes there Wade was telling didn't age well. She was calling Arturo, saying he'd gone native because he was using like Indian American tracking scouting skills or something like that. It was a little cringe. It was not exactly what you call PC, and it doesn't seem like something Wade would say. But
what did you think of like the characterization of I mean, that's what I mean. The writing was like a little.
It wasn't. I mean, Arturo was good. Arturo seemed like Arturo. Rembrandt wasn't too far off. Quinn was. I don't know. Quinn and Wade just didn't seem in character to me.
Well, I mean, I liked the idea. It was an interesting idea, I think, that they were two-dimensional beings, and that they saw everything else was in 3D. So, yeah, they couldn't really do that on TV, but I did like that idea, and I think it was really
the concept was certainly interesting.
Yeah. Right. And then, and then the second issue, wasn't it? Was that the one? I'm trying to remember with the issues that I read. It kind of went into that UFO thing, but then it didn't go into like gladiators or something like that, or
I think that's in the third round in the Darkest Hour.
Yeah, see, I don't even remember this. We didn't even take any notes on this. It was just like I read them in
I just read them last night, and I've already forgotten some of the order, but.
Well, I guess we could talk about the second set then. So this is okay. So the next one then was it was a 2-issue miniseries called Ultimatum. So this is the first issue of this, and it was the same writer, I think, D.G. I think he wrote all of them. D.G. Chichester, yeah, so he wrote all of these issues, yeah. But the artwork is a little bit different. I think there was still some of the story by Tracy Torme. I'm not sure. He might have taken some of his story, but
yeah, Ultimatum 1 was story by Tracy Torme. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, and then these were both penciled by Bernard Chang, inked by Dick Giordano. So again, according to EarthPrime.com, the synopsis for Ultimatum number 1: the rapture has come. Thousands are disappearing, but is it divine intervention or a religious conspiracy? That's the first one. And then the second one. This is the second issue. It's hell on Earth for the Sliders as the group travels to a satanic parallel Earth to repair the dimensional barrier caused by Quinn's zealous double. Right, so, all right. Now, I think out of the 3, this was probably the best story.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You have any more thoughts on it, or?
Yeah, well, it was easier to follow a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
It seemed it had a lot of what do I want to say? It felt more plausible, I guess. It just it felt like it could have been maybe an actual television episode or a 2-parter or something.
I think some of this, I think we kind of see something like this later on, and like early on in season 4 a little. I think something we see is like getting into that little rapture. Yeah, the first issue was, so the first story was actually titled Rapture, and then the second one's titled Damnation. So they actually had titles for these stories.
Yeah. Yeah, and Rapture, where people are disappearing and are being claimed it's God's divine will, but we find out it's just many wormholes taking people away.
Yeah.
Now, what I didn't quite get was, are they going to the satanic world, or are they just going wherever? That's the part I didn't really figure out.
I think that's where they're supposed to.
Because it said those 2 worlds were connected, because they were able to go there and then come back, or use the timer in both worlds and not get lost. But yeah. And then
they were connected. I think that's where they were going. I think they were going to the where we had the what's the word I'm looking for? I had the perfect word for it. The Wade's double, but her like the dominatrix Wade, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Dominatrix Wade.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word. I don't know if that's what she was, but
Well, I liked how they also used an Arturo double to help
oh yeah,
figure
yeah,
stuff out. Yeah.
because he was a heretic.
Yes. Because he was a scientist who said the rapture was all
Right.
a falsehood, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think these two were the better of the 7 main issues.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even if it did get it was a little what do you want to say? Kind of more into the mysticy on the damnation side with
Oh
the
yeah.
giving Arturo that demonic pendant that apparently carries
Right.
forward into the next
Right.
series. So
Yeah. Yeah. So this is where I said where they kind of tied into, and they were trying to tie in with what was going on in the TV show, I think, with Arturo like feeling like I mean, it seemed like he was like kind of considering it, wasn't he?
yes,
If I read
yeah,
it correctly.
yeah.
So he was actually thinking of betraying Quinn or something to that effect.
Yeah,
So,
well,
yeah.
and there were a lot of remarks about
Resentment.
the two of them fighting over who was the genius and who was the student, and
Yeah.
Arturo's jealousy, and yeah. So I feel like there was a better characterization of the characters we knew from the show in these two issues as well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was definitely the better of the three, I think. Okay, so we'll get to the last three. So the last one was Darkest Hour, and they changed the logo on it. This was like the new company logo or whatever. So
the Acclaim.
Yeah. So I guess they just have the A there for Armada or whatever. But Darkest Hour. So this is number 1. So these were all again D.G. Chichester. The artwork got weird in these issues.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
We had like different, like I think like different people like drew different parts of it. You could tell at some points.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it the same thing? Issue number 1, pencil by Dick Giordano and Kevin Basic, inked by Mike DiCarlo and Sam De La Rosa, and I think issue numbers 2 and 3 are the same. So the story of this is Visions of the Soul, and it says, when the Zercurvians attempt retribution for the Sliders' trickery, their plan brings out the worst in the 4, literally. And then we have number 2. I think it's the same artwork for all of them. Let me see. Yeah, so numbers 2 and 3 are the same. Pencil by Kevin Kobasic, Val Mayurick, and Dennis Claro, inked by Sam De La Rosa and Barbara Kahlberg.
Mm-hmm.
So Darkest Hour number 2 is Dimensional Shadows. That's the title of the story. Will Rembrandt's new dark emotions betray the other Sliders on a world where human flesh has given way to cybernetics? Very weird story.
Yeah.
And number 3 was Ticking Clock. And it says, have the Sliders arrived home only to find that their personality disorders are too overwhelming to cope with. All right, so where do we begin with this one?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm doubting myself now about, you said the gladiators. It was a world where Atlantis had never fallen, and then it had kind of civilized the whole Earth.
I think it was the second issue of the first one, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The second story, and then they went and invaded. Yeah.
To fight the little green men who'd taken over Earth. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay,
yeah.
That was it.
Because they were itching for a fight. There was peace on Earth. There was no fighting anymore, and yet they still had gladiators. So, but yeah, that was confusing because I was thinking, how do they get back home? Do they not care if they come back home? They're just going to go to this new Earth, defeat the invaders and the Star People, they called them, and then stay there. Like, how are they getting home? But anyway, wherever that happened, I can't remember because I read them all at once, and I should read them again. They are entertaining. They're good stories, but the
Quantum Leap comics were better.
Yeah, which I haven't read either, so I gotta.
You never read the Quantum Leap comics?
No.
You never read any of them?
No, wow. I need to find them.
They're on Brian's site.
They're on Al's Place. Okay.
They are on Al's Place. Yes, he has
Al's Place. All right,
yes.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
But
for Ryan.
back to Sliders.
Yeah.
So yeah, this 3-part Darkest Hour. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Well, they bring the Zercurvians back because they're like dying, I guess, right? So like the lead Zercurv Maraude or whatever his name is, who cares? He just sees like he's using the last of their energy to get revenge on them or something, and he wants them trapped, but it didn't work well. So it's like it opened like a portal within themselves. I think so.
That's
so
what
it
I couldn't follow. And here I thought their dark sides were coming out because of the pendant that he was wearing from the satanic earth, but I think you're right. I think it must be that, because I couldn't follow that. I didn't understand how the Zercurvians just finished. Like I got how they were trapped, but I didn't understand in this part what. So that makes more sense now. That's why they were.
Oh, okay.
Because I really didn't understand why Quinn was stealing this boy's jar of pennies and having no qualms about it. And
you know who the boy was supposed to be, right? You know.
No.
That was supposed to be Jerry O'Connell's character from Stand By Me.
Oh.
That was him. That was a cute little touch. That was supposed to be whatever his name was. He's the fat little kid from Stand By Me. That's Jerry O'Connell. That was who that was. It was a nice little Easter egg. Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it is a nice Easter egg. I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Wade just murdering somebody because they littered. It was like, what is going on here? But,
which ended up being an android. Yeah.
It turns out he's an android, and they're on the planet where flesh and blood humans really don't exist anymore. So, what they say, something about Charles Babbage like actually invented computers in the 1800s, so skipped the whole Industrial Revolution and went straight into the information age.
Something like that.
Yeah. And they mentioned something about technology doubling every 18 months, which I think is actually Moore's law. Something I think his is every 2 years, like the capacity of semiconductors will double every 2 years. And that's been like since 1965. It's basically been true. But so that was a nice little actual, I guess, scientific nugget they threw in there. But yeah, the whole concept of everybody wanting to be either a hologram or an android was interesting. It didn't feel like Sliders to me. It felt like a very, kind of more like a Outer Limits type episode.
I think we're going to get an episode similar to that in season 3 too. So
really, okay.
Which Eric Dreiling is going to join us on.
All right.
Because it's got a specific guest. Well, I won't talk about that, but there's a guest star in that's like he wants to talk about. So.
All right. Cool. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, they were good reads. Certainly not the best comics I've read or graphic novels or anything like that, but nice little supplement to the series.
Just delving more into that story a little bit. Again, I don't know how I felt with, well, I guess with Rembrandt, because he basically wanted to he's like, oh, I'll get them all to my side, and we'll all like transplant our bodies into like these young, like, I guess it's the whole idea of like, you want to die when you're young or whatever, like the whole like star mentality of keeping yourself young and like eternal. So I guess that kind of fits, but it just still doesn't seem like Rembrandt. I mean, I don't know. It just like I get it, but I don't.
But it was their dark sides coming out, right? They didn't realize what was happening. They because he even said when they escaped, he said, "I really was going to turn you over. I don't know what came over me." Yeah, it was getting worse, like gradually getting worse with each slide they went to. Yes.
And then that last issue is, I guess they actually do go home to Earth.
Yeah.
But they're so, like, their personalities are so, like, off that, like, and that's when they realize like Quinn is yelling at his mom, and like and Rembrandt is, there's that one agent that's not Artie. I don't know what agent it is, but that's like a miscontinuity. Like, well, we already know Sliders doesn't care about continuity, but
yeah,
I forget what his name was. It wasn't Artie, his agent, whoever his agent was. He's like about to strangle him.
It was someone named Jimmy.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Arturo actually like erasing Quinn's name, like again, that ties in with the whole like, oh, I'm going to take the credit and not give him any.
Yeah.
But Quinn had to recalibrate, I guess so he's not it looked like he was recalibrating the actual machine, right? Like not the timer. So they're still sliding randomly, but he fixed whatever was going on with them. It's like, well, we'll get into these new adventures, like we'll be ourselves again at least, and
yes,
whatever. It all happened so quickly. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to consider them canon. I certainly don't. I certainly don't consider them canon.
No, that's why I said they're a supplement to the series. Certainly not part of the actual story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so what are our like? I don't have like an actual rating for all of these, but like, I don't know what we want to rate them if anything. Just.
Oh no, I think we'll just leave them.
Yeah. If anybody else wants to chime in on what they thought about the comics, or I mean, I don't know how many fans actually read these things, so I don't know. I mean, it was,
yes.
I liked them at the time. I liked I was like, oh, great, they're doing comics, and then they did. They were gonna continue these. I know they had like the 3 specials, which we didn't read. We'll get into that I think another time, because they're more standalone stories. One of them, the first one's written by Jerry O'Connell.
Oh, okay.
So it's about Narcotica. It's like basically a world where you do drugs, like just say yes. So like, okay. And it has to do with like, am I getting it right? Timothy Leary. I think it like plays a big part in it, and it's like almost mandatory that you take drugs on this world. So it's an interesting read, but like I said, I haven't read these in years. And the second one was Blood and Splendor. It's supposed to be a lost episode. I think it's like a Tracy Torme story, but it's I don't know if it's like necessarily like something that was going to be produced. And
okay.
And I think the third one, I feel like, I mean, the third one has the cover of it shows Wade in space. So
okay.
That has to do with like her family and something about them going up into space. I don't remember exactly what they were all about, but we'll get into them at some point. And there was supposed to be another one, which I think is on earthprime.com. I think there's the script for
the script
the next
is there,
special.
yes.
That was like Get a Life. That was like supposed to be another one they were going to do, and then they were going to continue because they were going to do the same company was going to do a new series of Quantum Leap comics. They were going to do a mini series, and I think, according to earthprime.com, and I think Matt Dale had found out some information about these because he was looking into the Quantum Leap comics that were going to be produced. There was going to be some crossover there between Quantum Leap and Sliders.
Interesting.
So maybe we'll talk about that another time. But
yeah, I
always wanted there to be a crossover between the two. I had an idea for crossover.
I've read at least one fan fiction story out there where there's a crossover. I think it was called Quanta Dimensional Leap or something like that.
Oh, that was a radio play. Yeah, that was.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was a radio play. Yeah, okay. I thought it was done really well. I thought it was never finished, but
or Quanta Dimensional Slide. Sorry, not Quanta Dimensional
Leap.
Oh,
okay. I thought you were. Yeah, okay.
Or Slideways Leap, something like that.
Oh, I don't know. There's so much fan fiction out there. I mean, the only ones I really kept up with were the virtual seasons because we wrote for that. So.
Nope. Sorry. Yeah, Quanta Dimensional Leap was something real. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
No, Slideways Leap. I found it. It was a GeoCities Sliders Quantum Leap.
Oh, okay.
Crossover. I found it here.
Oh, okay.
It's on the OO Cities, which archived GeoCities pages.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, here it is. It's from 1997 by someone named Perry Smith. So
okay.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to read that, just search Slideways Leap, and it'll be down there.
Oh, okay.
Search somewhere. Yeah.
hey, if you're out there, you want to join us and talk about it.
Yeah, Perry, we'd be happy to talk to you.
Let us know. Yeah, the only thing I'll say about Quantum Leap sliders was I had the idea. It would have involved, the original concept was going to be the Zercurvians for the first part, but then the Cro-Mags came along and I changed it to the Cro-Mags. But that was my idea, was how to cross them over, was that Sam was going to leap into a Cro-Mag.
Oh.
It was going to be a Zercurvian, and then I changed it to a Cro-Mag when they introduced the Cro-Mags. But that was the idea, was that the first one was going to be a Sliders episode, and then the second one was going to be a Quantum Leap episode. And there was going to be Sam and Quinn switching places, like kind of like a Simo Leap, how Sam and Al switched places. It was going to be like Quinn was the leaper and Sam was the slider as himself. I had to figure out how that all worked, but that's something that I would have done anyway. All right. Well, if that is it, I guess we'll share some of the last feedback we had from the past few episodes we did.
Yeah, sounds good.
You want to do that, and then we can get into the actual 30th anniversary stuff, which we'll cut away to.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, so we got. I mean, it's a bit of stuff we got, but we might as well read them. Do you want to take Indino Veritas or?
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Thomas from Sliders Fan Blog said, I remember talking about this, about the comet versus asteroid technicality. He says, maybe the professor didn't correct Wade about the comet because he is less intelligent as a double Arturo.
Maybe.
So Thomas thinks it's the wrong Arturo.
Or he's just humoring us with it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we also had that discussion in that episode.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Pedro Ferreira from the Sliders Discord group says, actually, for the first time, the CG dino was amazing. It might have dated, but for TV, I've never seen anything like that before. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. From memory, I don't think the dino slide effects looked bad at all as well. It was simply amazing for the time they managed to recreate Jurassic Park dinosaurs for a TV show. As a whole, season 2 and 3 had the best effects, some of which still look better than what we get today. Season 1 had some good effects, but they still look dodgy. Season 4 had absolutely terrible effects. Season 5 wasn't too bad, thankfully.
Yeah.
All right, that's when it went to sci-fi, right? Season 4 and 5.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we got Great Fellas. There was, there's no comment to read. It's just that we had like feedback from someone named Cassandra Alima, just kind of doing like some hearts and like a Vulcan effect thing. I guess just saying I guess because she liked that she liked what we were doing. I guess I don't know. I figured I would just share that she made a comment. This is their names are Shay and Ali. We've seen them before. Shane Merchant, 5013.
Oh yes,
yeah. So that's what they listed as Shay and Ali as their YouTube name. Still got a couple of payphones in my town in Oz. Funnily enough, they are free to use now, so calling them a payphone seems a little redundant. And then Thomas again from Sliders Fan Blog. We kind of mentioned this before. We kind of mentioned the comment the last time, but it says, you'll never get back to your home if you slide into Canada. Great theme, guys. The intro was great. That these guys are kind of cool. Comment, Cro-Mags or podcast, because we asked Albie about that because he was responding to what Albie's comment was about Cro-Mags or podcast. And then Will, Mr. Pleasant TV, said, y'all are hilarious. Great review.
Oh, thanks, Will.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. Reviewing Great Fellas. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I tried to have fun with it because I didn't like it all that much. So I'm like, let's just have some fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So do you understand this? Because this is kind of a back and forth with the Young and the Relentless. This is Albie and Stacy talking to each other back and forth.
Yes.
To get into this.
Yeah. All right. So the Young and the Relentless. Albie says, "These guys are good." And Stacy says, "Albie, Laura Harris wasn't on the 4400. She was on 15 in Dead Like Me. You were confusing her with Laurie Allen, who played Lily on the 4400. Laura Allen was also on Awake and Ravenswood, the short-lived spin-off of PLL.
Mm.
I used to confuse them too. Happy birthday!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was his birthday when this video came out. Yeah.
And then Albie's response, good point. I must not be on my home world. I haven't made it out to the Golden Gate Bridge yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we have another comment here from Chris Digital Artist.
Mm-hmm.
I stumbled upon your YouTube channel with your last episode. I love that others are still talking about sliders. This was a great review. After some of the thoughts you all shared, I think my rating probably went down. We're not trying to change anyone's mind. We're just...
I know.
But yeah, the whole young age thing just doesn't work out very much. Probably sounded okay on script, but it doesn't work well looking back. Yes, Sabrina did an awesome job playing a very different character as her double. I have all Sliders comics except the first 2. They are all in great condition. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Chris, interested to hear your thoughts on the comics as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Thomas again says, the QR code was invented in 1994 in Japan, so maybe that was a reference to it with the jacket.
Maybe.
Nice. Oh, and then Will comments about me getting frustrated. Yeah, okay. Mike getting frustrated with the characters not knowing when they slide is hilarious. Great review as always. At the time, I liked the episode, but listening to you all, yeah, my rating went down. Sweet P24 on Reddit said, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank Ducks Van Dam on Reddit also said, I found it bizarre how nonchalantly some of the people in this world just accepted these identical folks appearing from another dimension, and at such a fortuitous time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like Evil Wade didn't care. She was like, yeah, sure, you're from a different dimension. I'll use you.
She didn't seem very surprised at all.
And then
shocked. Yeah.
But then so did the CFO, and so did the
right.
people in the company. Yeah.
I think that's another reason why I was like, this just it was kind of like Greatfellas too. It was like how'd they get past security? Like,
yeah, they just
come on, like
you didn't see the giant wormhole in the sky.
Nice.
2 of them landed in your pool.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for the comments. We love reading them. They're a lot of fun to read.
Yeah, I think I'm caught up on it. I believe. I think that's it. So yeah. So and we'll share them as we continue along.
Yeah.
All right. So we're getting into so like I said, this is the 30th anniversary. So I had asked some people to submit some things. We didn't get like very many, but we might as well read the written ones, and then after that I'll cut away to we have 2 video clips from past guests, and we have an audio clip which is like 15 minutes, but I don't think I'm gonna cut it, so it's
okay.
It should, anybody who's been listening to if you've been listening to podcasts in the past for Sliders, this will probably be really nice treat for all of you. So,
all right,
that's all I'll say, and we'll cut away to it. So, which one do you want to read? Do you want to read Tom's, and then this is from?
Sure. Yep, that's fine by me.
And then I'll read the following one after that.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Tom Birchfield from SlideCage.com provided these comments for us. So thanks, Tom, in advance. He says, Sliders came into my life when I was 8 years old in 1995. I think my opinions were ingrained into me at the very moment I saw each episode. My family and I must have had 6 TV stations, give or take. It was the adventure that caught my eye, in contrast to the deep black space of a confined bridge on Star Trek. I was in laughter when Rembrandt falling into his double stardom, in utter fear upon the appearance of the Cro-Mags, shocked that an evil Arturo took the rightful place of our own. Maybe.
Maybe.
Life was bittersweet after hearing the absence of a squeaking gate, and I cried in front of the TV during the death of Arturo. Spoilers.
Spoiler.
It's okay. It's a retro review.
Right.
I've struggled finding my favorite episode, but I believe I narrowed it down to The King is Back. That is a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely hilarious, and it still managed to get the idea of parallel worlds across. I've always been a fan of Elvis, and on that world, their Elvis was the crying man. Other favorites of mine are The Guardian, Eggheads, Last Days, and Post-Traumatic Slide Syndrome. Sliders is one wild roller coaster. It ranges from comedy, pulp culture, movie ripoffs, and at times it turns dark. Very dark. TV shows like to have happy endings. If such an experiment went wrong in real life, I'm not so sure it would have a happy ending. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
I began my Sliders website, slidecage.com, in 2007, and have somehow continued this long while sharing the fandom on social media. I texted the creator Tracy Torme a few times, and he was also shocked at how young I was watching the show back then. Maybe he didn't realize the full impact it has had on the world. We talked on the phone less than a week before he died. I was able to tell him thank you for one last time. Even though I didn't really know him, it still hurts till this day. As bizarre as it sounds, I feel a small part of me died with him. Without his storytelling, you wouldn't be hearing from me today. I wouldn't have put so much of this into my life. I hope to keep his stories and name out there, however long God allows it. Thomas.
Yeah.
That's lovely, Thomas. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing.
Yeah. I told him, it's like, that was perfect. Thank you very much. All right, and then this one is from, he commented previously, Pedro Ferreira, and he's been trying to, unfortunately, he's in the UK. He wanted to join us for, he wanted to join us for post-traumatic slide syndrome, and there had been some miscommunication with stuff. It's all worked out, but it's just, he's in the UK. It's very hard for us to coordinate, but we might try to do something for the Christmas episode that he can join us. I'll put a link for, I think he actually did something for the 30th anniversary on another podcast thing, which I'll show link to that as well. So yeah, like a little thing going on. So this is from Pedro. It is 29 years this September that I first sat down to watch a new TV show the BBC were showing called Sliders. I really didn't know much about the show, but by all accounts, it was being promoted as a cross between The Time Tunnel and Back to the Future. The similarities are very obvious from the structure and style, to the point I was convinced Steven Spielberg had a hand in producing the show. This, of course, was wrong, but it shows the level of fun and creativity show creators Tracy Torme and Robert K. Weiss were trying to bring to the series. The idea of traveling between alternate dimensions on a time limit made for both a thought-provoking series, but one that was thrilling, exciting, and edge-of-your-seat fun. The cast was great, the humor was funny, and the visual effects were nothing short of astonishing. Some of the effects in seasons 2 and 3, especially for the wormhole, look better than what we have today. For instance, CG today isn't concerned with human physics or the believable otherworldly. Like everyone else, I saw the show change over time. I wasn't a fan of what it eventually became. I wasn't a fan of the cast changes or the changes in the premise. Seasons 1 and 2 seemed perfect to me. Yeah. Season 3, which had the biggest budget, made too many harmful changes to the show which it never recovered from. I never even saw seasons 4 and 5 when it was aired because the BBC never showed it. Not that the show got better, it got worse. I was quite hard on season 3 at the time with good reason. However, rewatching the show from beginning to end, my feeling on that season and the show as a whole changed. There's definitely 5 good episodes from that season that feel like Sliders. Double Cross, The Guardian, Dead Man Sliding, The Prince of Slides, and Season's Greetings. But rewatching all of them made me note that every episode of Season 3 at least has a beginning, middle, and end, which is far more than can be said about modern serialized TV, which is true.
Yeah.
The main problem with Season 3 is that, bar those 5 episodes I listed, nearly every one of those episodes is watchable, they're just not Sliders. My point is, I was too hard on that season, and taking the episodes individually rather than the season as a whole, you can see effort was put into them. I just wish the show had evolved naturally from the previous 2 seasons. David Peckinpah wasn't so much the villain, but was brought in as the yes man, which allowed the network to ruin the series. But certainly, whether it's because our standards are slipping, Season 3 still looks more competently made and exciting to watch than most modern TV that gets huge ratings. I also took the time to see the last 2 seasons, and it was a mixed bag. Season 5 just being slightly less worse than Season 4, which was frankly a chore to watch. In Season 4, they almost weren't sliding to parallel dimensions, but sliding to the Chandler Hotel. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that. Season 5 seemed to have a slightly higher budget, probably because they didn't have to pay Jerry O'Connell's salary.
Mm.
Yeah, probably. In all, network interference prevented us from getting 5 solid seasons of the show with a resolution. Instead, we got 2. I never forgot about the show. I have to thank shows like Sliders, which gave me the imagination I have today. The MCU multiverse is convoluted. A show like Fringe felt dull. I disagree with you, but I'll disagree on that one. Sliders taught me to dream about the impossible worlds and universes out there. I've been doing what I can to raise awareness for the series. I would like to see the original cast reunited, and I have an idea how to reboot the series that ties all 5 seasons together cohesively instead of pretending the later seasons never happened, which from a writing point of view is cheating in my opinion. Yeah, kind of. Needless to say, I have plenty of ideas and plenty to say about the future of a reboot. I'm just grateful we ended up getting a taste of what was possible with the premise, but let's not stop there. Best wishes and continue to explore those parallel worlds. Pedro. Well,
Great.
Thank you, Pedro.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you, Pedro.
Yeah.
Excellent comments.
Yeah. All right, so next up we're gonna have some just sit back and watch some of these and listen to this, and then we'll be back after that.
March 95, where was I? I was in the 5th grade. Mind you, the 90s was different when it came to sci-fi. You either had the super serious or the super goofy. There actually was a show called Whoops that was spelled, I think, incorrectly, W-O-O-P. Actually, starred Clavon Derricks. Check that out. You can find it on YouTube. Maniac Mansion is these generic off-brand X-Men television movies. The 90s, you didn't have a lot of choice. It's like these TV producers and studios did not know how to handle it. And this show came out somewhat grounded reality with the sci-fi mixed in. That what makes a good science fiction show. Relatable, grounded characters, and the sci-fi is an actual element that just expands on the experience, and that's what the show did. It actually made me appreciate history. It introduced multidimensional travel to me. It actually got me into to actually want to appreciate science and the world we live in, because some of these worlds they travel to, crazy. So, Sliders, wow, 30 years of entertaining and world traveling. We appreciate you. We thank you. Hopefully reboot soon. That would be awesome. But thank you, Sliders.
Sliders is one of those once-in-a-lifetime television shows. There aren't many quite like him out there today, and its unique high-concept premise of exploring the multiverse allowed us, the audience, to be treated to some of the most thought-provoking and exciting forms of storytelling. We got to see, for example, what the world might have been like if the Soviet Union was a controlling power, or if penicillin had never been invented. We also got to see what would have happened to the main characters in their personal lives had they not been caught up in sliding in the first place. Jerry O'Connell, John Rhys-Davies, Sabrina Lloyd, and Clavon Derricks were the heart and soul of the show, naturally. Yeah. And each of their characters gave us a unique perspective of their situation. For example, you had the Professor and Quinn, who gave us the scientific aspects of their journey. They were able to explain in a scientific way why this is happening or why this could or could not happen. And then you had the more personal, emotional side of the journey with Wade and Rembrandt's characters. Now, they were able to see things in ways that the Professor and Quinn did not. And if I had to pick a favorite character, it would have to be Rembrandt Brown. Clavon Derricks really gave a terrific performance. portraying the everyman who was caught up in this journey. He was the only one who had no say in his involvement. And he went from reluctant and grouchy companion to strong and courageous leader. The other cast members who joined later, their characters would often turn to Rembrandt as a way to figure out a way out of their situation or for some advice, very much in the way that Rembrandt often looked at Quinn. So I would have to say that the Rembrandt-centric episodes were some of the best of the series. I believe it was a season 5 episode. It was California Reich. That was a Rembrandt episode. And now I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but that story truly highlighted Rembrandt's strengths. Of course, you had The King is Back and Java Jive, which was a season 4 episode where he was a corrupt police detective in a world where caffeine was outlawed. But I would have to say that Sliders as a show meant a lot to me, because during its original broadcast run, I was a teenager and I was, going through some rough times, and that show allowed me the escapism that I needed. And it was through the show where my love for science fiction only grew stronger. And to this day, I still hope that perhaps Jerry O'Connell, John Rhys-Davies, or anyone else involved with the show could find a way to bring it back, even if it's for a limited run series. I would love to see what happens to Quinn, Wade, the Professor, and Rembrandt in today's times, because there's still plenty of room for more amazing, thought-provoking, and meaningful storytelling. And that is where Sliders never fail to deliver.
So this last submission is an audio submission, so there's no video for it, so there will be a little like an image on the screen. So if you want to listen to it. And this is from, they are probably one of the first people that actually did a Sliders podcast, and I think finished the entire series, because there are other podcasts out there that never finished it, but they finished it. This is Corey and Tom from the Rewatch podcast.
Nice.
They have over 650 episodes of, they started with Sliders, they've done Quantum Leap, they've done Lois and Clark.
Wow.
They've done a lot of shows. They've done Heroes. They did the Quantum Leap revival too. They've done Star Trek. They've done so many things. So anyway, this is them. So sit back and enjoy.
Hello, Fandom Entanglement listeners, watchers. I don't know, what do you call people that go on YouTube?
Yeah, right.
I'm Corey.
I'm Tom.
And we are from the Rewatch podcast. And we were asked by Damon to share our thoughts on Sliders, because he reminded us that back in March, it has been 30 years since that pilot episode of Sliders. Can you believe it?
That's crazy. 30 years.
And it was the show that we first rewatched on our podcast probably about 10 years ago now. I think we did it around the 20th anniversary.
Yep. Yeah, it was a while ago. I've gotten so much older.
Oh, so much older. So much older. We've done so many shows since then. But here we are. We're going to revisit Sliders. This is a show that I was maybe 11 or 12 when it first started. So it was like kind of one of those formative sci-fi shows for me to watch when I was a kid. So it's just always stuck with me. And I would say it's probably my favorite sci-fi show of all time. What do you think?
I was in college when it came out, and I didn't know anything about it, but my mother, who knew me, knew what I was into. She must have seen a commercial for it and said, hey, there's a show coming on tonight that you might want to watch. And I'm like, oh, well, all right, I'll check it out. And I think I actually even set the VCR to record it because I wasn't going to be home when it came on. So I watched it after the fact, and I was like, dang, she's right. This is really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved time travel in science fiction. It's always one of my big things. You know, I can't say I completely remember, but I can imagine that I came to this with the idea of like, it's traveling to other places, but it's not time. It's changed in a way just because of circumstance, branching off, creating whole new realities. It's the kind of thing that I really enjoyed sort of trying to wrap my head around and think about how that would work. And it was just very different to time travel, even though it kind of is a form of time travel when you think about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And this show just did it brilliantly. So I suppose we could always talk about some of our favorite episodes. So do you want to start?
Yeah, so I went through the episode list and I was like, which ones really spoke out to me that I really, really liked? One of those would definitely be the pilot. I really enjoyed the pilot.
The pilot's got to be tippy top of the bunch, right? It's such a solid pilot. Of any show I think that we've rewatched, or any show that I've probably ever seen, the pilot is so solid.
Yeah, it sets up the characters perfectly, their personalities. I know they would evolve a little bit, especially Rembrandt when we get into the later seasons. But really, Wade and Quinn, the professor, are right there from the very beginning with just solid characterizations and just the interactions between them all. I just love it. I love how Arturo is so pompous, just the way he reacts to Quinn when he comes into the classroom after the double has already been there and insulted the heck out of him. There's so many good moments in that pilot.
Yeah, and it could have come off so cheesy because it is kind of a trope to have your scientific characters doing their scientific stuff and then a couple of characters who just get whipped up in the whole thing. Yeah, it could have come across so cheesy, but because they establish early on that they are taking this concept seriously, it elevates it to a whole new level, really.
And the whole idea of like an alternate history where things just went a little bit different, that's always appealed to me. And the way they do that here with the statue of Lenin in the park, and he doesn't even notice it when he's running through and he goes back later. Oh, this one captured my imagination right away. Definitely pulled me in. I was just like, definitely going to watch this for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a more solid theme across season 1 as well, just really nailing the alternate reality, Fever and Last Days Where the World's Going to End, Prince of Wales where England is in charge over like the pilot with Russia and that sort of thing. And I think that's what I liked most about season 1 is that it really did stick to that core theme. And then as we sort of move further away from that, they really start to get a little bit iffier.
Yeah, I will say, when you're thinking about Sliders, are you thinking of any episodes from seasons 4 and 5 at all?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
And that's kind of a thing that we have on our podcast, right? I think being that this was the first show that we watched, we go back to that a lot and think about how bad it can get. And it can get bad. There's still something about those later seasons that, like I said, this is still my favorite show of all time. And I can I can still go back to those later seasons and I can really critique them very badly, but they're still watchable.
Well, I will say, like when we covered this, when we went over seasons 4 and 5, I think we were prepared for really bad stuff. But we seem to be able to find some positive things in each episode, which has not been the case for all shows that we've watched lately. It's been a little rough. The Sliders, even 4 and 5, we were able to kind of focus on the positive, which was good. I like that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if any more season 1 episodes would make the top of my list. I would actually probably give a really solid recommend to Luck of the Draw. I really do like the concept of the life lottery, people sacrificing themselves for the greater good, that sort of thing. I always thought that was an interesting episode because we do get to see a world that is low population and how resources are more plentiful for everybody who does live.
There is one season 1 episode that I also really like because I am a musician, as our listeners will know. I love movies when they're about music. I love TV shows when they incorporate music into them as such an important part of it. And so for me, I really like The King is Back in that season 1 because you get to go back and you get to see Rembrandt in his heyday, which was hilarious. And if you recall, I also recorded my own version of Tears in My Fro that we put on the episode. So that one is always going to have a special place in my heart. So one of the ones in season 2 that I really liked was called Time Again and World. The one where they go and the women have the facial hair and then they witness this car accident and they're trying to get, was it the Bill of Rights or the Constitution out to the people, and it's like this whole underground plot thing. I don't know what it was that when I was going through the list, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that one, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's the thing about season 2 is that it did start to get a bit more, I think, science-y in a way as well, right? Just a little bit more higher concept even that they would bring in. Not for every episode, but there was quite a few. Another favorite of mine is Indigo Veritas, and that's the first of the dinosaur episodes.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that was a pretty good one as well.
Yeah, I like that one because they didn't just go with, we go into a world and there's dinosaurs. It's our world, but dinosaurs have been able to escape extinction, but they are endangered. So I kind of like that they really thought about the concept there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, it opened with Into the Mystic. Then obviously there was Post-Traumatic Slide Syndrome, which was the episode where they got home. Such a good episode. Just the concept of tricking them into believing they were home.
And I love the twist with Arturo at the end, which, do we know if the real one slid or not? We don't know. That was always a way that I think people latched onto. Well, they could always get back to that world and bring the professor back. I don't know how if that would cheapen his death or not. I think I would love it, though, if they were able to go back and get him. But if they ever bring Sliders back, I don't think they're going to go that way.
No, I would hope not. I think they would come up with something else.
I had one, and I like it because this is the episode, the alternate universe Wade has this great 80s hair and just looks drop dead gorgeous. The Young and the Relentless.
The concept that you had to retire by 35.
I just love the way that they turned the tables on her at the end with our Wade dressing up as the alternate universe Wade. So good. So, all right, now this one I kind of forgot about when I was going through the list. Quinn runs into his old high school girlfriend. They go to 3 different worlds, and he runs into her each time, and he tries to help her, and it never really works out for him. Her name was Dalen. In one, she was a maid. In another one, her boyfriend was like abusive. And in the last one, she was like an agent, like an FBI agent or something. I can't remember exactly. But he wanted to help her in each timeline. And I think he did in one. He called his double and told his double that Dalen was available to seek her out. And so it did have a good ending, I guess, in the one little scene. But that was a favorite of mine as well.
And what was the one where time was like, it was still linear, but it was going in the opposite direction?
Oh, you know what? That's this episode. In the last world they go to, she's like an agent or something, and Arturo and Rembrandt are on trial, okay. And then it moves backwards where they're in their jail, then it moves backwards where they're getting arrested.
That's probably why it came to mind. Yeah, there's something in my subconscious there that brought that to mind.
Exactly, because they were supposed to have killed Dalen, but Quinn changes that since time's going backwards, and that's when the portal opens up. They zoom out of there before anything else happens. But Arturo said something about we could have destroyed this whole dimension, by interfering like we did.
And then, we go over to season 3, which, I mean, by all accounts, really, the first half of it was pushing us towards the death of Arturo.
It's not one of my top favorite episodes. I have watched The Exodus with Arturo's death so many times because it's an episode that really makes you feel it, like when he finally dies, it's like, oh man, that's so bad. I'm going to miss him. So I've watched that one a lot. I don't think I'm going to put it up there on my list of the greatest episodes, but it's one that I've definitely watched more than others.
There was the impact of the death of the professor, which was great and so well done by John Rhys Davies, but it did introduce a whole new storyline where we actually had our characters actively chasing somebody from world to world now. They weren't just randomly going wherever. They were sliding with a purpose, and that was to get Colonel Rickman with the help of Maggie. It really did fundamentally change the show.
It kind of changed too much for me, where I still enjoyed it, but I'm like, I wish we were just randomly going from place to place.
Yeah, and then the worlds just ended up being like really bizarre, episodes like Slither, Stoker, This Slight of Paradise. They even did an episode where they brought back the professor because, I mean, we didn't mention this. We did our rewatch where we put it all back in order.
Yes.
Correct per production and not how it was aired. And they brought back Arturo because I guess they just forgot that they had a whole episode that he was in after he was dead. So they had to wrap it in this idea of being a flashback story. Like,
yep.
It just, you could see the wheels coming off the bus.
Yes, for sure.
Almost immediately after Arturo was gone, which was a shame because, like we said, there's really nothing in 4 or 5 that we could agree would be worth us putting on our top episodes lists.
And then The Guardian. This is the one where Quinn goes back and time moved slower here. So he sees himself as a young boy and his teacher who he had a crush on, who he is now old enough to actually date. And he's actively trying to change his future. And Arturo's like, you shouldn't be doing this. You can't do that. It turns out he was trying to prevent his younger self from making a terrible mistake and actually hurting someone with a bat, which would like cripple them or something like that. So that was a real powerful episode, I felt.
Yeah, it was another episode too where they tried to work with the concept of it's not time travel, it's just how circumstances work, so we're just in a world that is slightly behind all the other worlds or something, so we can have young Quinn there.
So another one for season 3 that I really enjoyed was Double Cross. That's the one with the female Quinn named Logan. Basically, the evil leaper, like in Quantum Leap.
That one slight difference, you know, it might have just been a different time that his parents got together. Just anything could have happened just to change those circumstances slightly to make Quinn go from male to female.
It's a shame that we never got her back again. Like, I would prefer her as a recurring villain more than Colonel Rickman, by far.
Very strange season 3, right? Like, you know, there's a bunch of episodes that kind of just had really weird concepts, like electric twisted acid test and Desert Storm dragon slides that season. Like, some really offbeat ones. We got to remember too, they changed the timer in the season 2 with Slide Like an Egyptian, where there was this advanced Egyptian society that had invented sliding. Just so happens that their timer explodes on this world and they can get another one back. Crazy things, right? That took us into seasons 4 and 5 that were just like, just a little off, right? When they introduced Quinn's brother and the concept that he was actually from another world, it never really seemed to click. Never really seemed to all fall into place, did it?
And like the parents, his mother that we knew from the pilot was not his real mother. He actually had other parents that were sliders from another dimension. It definitely went a little bit off the rails. And like, I'm looking through the list right now and I'm like, yeah, I kind of remember some of these. And I guess I kind of like that one, but they're not ones that I would like say, oh, I want to rewatch Sliders. I'm going to go back to season 4. You know, I'd be like, no, I'm going to go to season 1, season 2, that type of thing.
Yeah. Like once the Rickman thing was kind of done with, they needed to go somewhere else. And what did they have? They had the Cro-Mags, which were well established. Again, I love the concept that human evolution took a different path on this one world, you know, so they kind of feel slighted that they're the only ones of their kind or whatever, so they want to invade everything. It's cool, but yeah, they never quite developed them to be the best of bad guys, I suppose. There is one episode in season 4, which was the slide cage. I really liked the concept of that they had this facility that shunted you into a kind of prison. That was the one episode that really developed like Cro-Mag human relationships and actually did a good job with that, right? But outside of that, the concept of the Cro-Mags, I think they just didn't quite develop well enough.
It was definitely a good solid 2.5 seasons, and I didn't mind most of season 3, but there were some bad ones in there. Season 4 and 5, could take them or leave them.
And of course the show ends on a cliffhanger.
Yes, it does.
Also sucked.
Yes.
You know, we could talk forever about Sliders, really. We could go back over every episode. I mean, that's just the highlights that we always think about. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can hear us talk about it. Or it was 10 years ago now that we did it, but those episodes are still available on our feed at the Rewatch Podcast if you want to watch along in original order with us and listen to our episodes. It's always great to have new listeners come and join us, or hey, you can come and join us for things that we've done more recently or things that we have coming up. We're going to be rewatching the UK series of Men Behaving Badly, just for something a little bit different. We usually cover genre shows, but this one's just a little bit of fun. Before we get into watching Eureka, we would love for you to join us. You can head over to therewatchpodcast.com, or you can download the podcast on any of your podcast apps.
And we just want to thank Fandom Entanglement for inviting us to be a part of this. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great to just have this little quick mini discussion to reminisce once again on Sliders. So thanks, guys.
All right, we're back, and that is our pretty much our 30th anniversary celebration. So I wanted to do something a little bit special for that. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. So, Mike.
Yeah.
What do we got next?
What do we have next? Well, season 3 is next. So coming soon. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel here. Mm-hmm. We'll be starting with Double Cross with a special guest to be revealed at the time.
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
Until then, we would love to hear more of your thoughts about the show. You can even go back and add more comments to the previous episodes, because we will continue to do these roundups as we go forward. And to do that, be sure to like and subscribe, and just keep on sending in those comments to us. We love to hear from you. You can also visit our website, fandomentanglement.com. And if you want to get in touch with us directly, our email is fandom.entanglement@gmail.com. You can join the Facebook group at facebook.com/fandomentanglement. We're also on Blue Sky at fandomentanglement.bsky.social. And Mastodon, fandomentanglement.mastodon.social. So connect with us there, and we'll be trying to get back into the routine of posting when the episodes are launched there as well. And looking forward to doing season 3 with you, Damon. This has been a fun ride so far, and it's even if the episodes aren't as good, I think we're still gonna have a good time.
We'll try our best, and just as a side note, we're gonna try to get a few of these done, and I'm gonna get them early because we have you have vacations coming up, so we're kind of on break, but we're also just we're kind of stretching that out, so we don't know when season 3 is going to start, but we're going to be recording it very soon. I just don't know when it's going to be because we're figuring out everything. Anyway, that was my side note.
Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. Well, my friend, I guess it's time to sign off. So until next time, I'm Mike.
And I'm Damon.
We'll keep on sliding.
Keep on sliding. Happy 30th.
Yeah, happy 30th. Woo.
All right. Bye, guys.